Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy Podcast. And in today's video, we are going to address the Lakers' lack of explosive athleticism. And today we're going to be talking about 4 current free agents who are still floating around out there that the Lakers can sign. Well, not right now, because the Lakers are currently just about $1 million below the first apron, and they don't have the ability to sign a standard veteran minimum. So this video is more of a here are some current free agents to monitor if and when the Lakers finally make enough space below the first apron to be able to sign a veteran minimum. Likely not till late December, mid-January, or if and when the Lakers eventually make their consolidation trade to get rid of Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber. So there's nothing really imminent here. This is more of an FYI sort of video. These are the players that have currently been floating around in my mind that I want to keep an eye on, and I'm sharing them with you because I frankly don't want to talk about the Lakers debacle in Atlanta the other night. So, in summary, I have 4 free agent names for you guys who are either playing overseas or currently just waiting at home, waiting for that call that you guys may want to monitor as the season progresses. And again, all of these names will specifically address the Lakers' explosive athleticism deficit. Now, I know Adu Thiero is ramping up and should play at any moment, but I don't want to rely on a rookie coming off of a knee injury to be the Lakers' main source of sheer explosive force. So I think that's an area that the Lakers can continue to stack up. And then once Adu returns, once LeBron returns, we'll be in a much better position with regards to having actual elite, fast, explosive athletes who can jam the ball down the opposing team's throats. So with all that preamble out of the way, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. And let's get into my list of 4 explosive athletic free agents to monitor once the Lakers have enough money below the first apron. All right, for my first name, let's talk about Kai Jones. So Kai Jones last season played with the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Clippers, but his most impactful time came with the Dallas Mavericks as a fill-in for Anthony Davis and Derek Lively while those two were injured towards the end of the season. Kai Jones was the former 19th pick in the 2021 draft by the Charlotte Hornets. Currently, he is an unrestricted free agent, but he is playing overseas with Anadolu Efes. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I believe that's the Turkish league. He's playing overseas currently, but I do believe he has an NBA out. As you all know, Kai Jones is a power forward / center. He's still only 24 years old. He is 6'11" in height with a nice 7'1" wingspan and weighs 220 pounds. Last season, in 12 games with the Dallas Mavericks, Kai Jones averaged 11 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 0.8 steals, 0.8 blocks on a ridiculous 83% from the field. He shot 70% from the line, and he did all of this in just 21.7 minutes. Now, my pitch for Kai Jones is simple. This dude is just an athletic, upper-tier, explosive freak. Now, I know what you're probably going to say, but we already have Jackson Hayes. And to that, I'd say true. Right now, I think Jackson Hayes is doing his job more than serviceably. Why do we need Kai Jones? In my opinion, I think we, especially in those games where DeAndre Ayton has to sit, we've seen Jackson Hayes get bumped up to starter, and then we have to rely on a guy like Christian Koloko. And right now, as much as I've sort of championed Christian Koloko and said that the Lakers should give him a standard contract, for whatever reason, he just hasn't improved, and the coaching staff hasn't seemed to trust Christian Koloko. So I don't know. I think we need a better, legitimate third string backup. And Kai Jones, who's out of a job right now, Kai Jones would be the perfect fit and the perfect vertical lob threat next to Luka Doncic. And we've already seen him produce in the NBA as recently as the tail end of last season. 11 points, 6.6 rebounds, almost a steal and a block per game. He was showing off some tremendous feats of athleticism. And he is, honestly, in my opinion, he's an even better aerial lob threat than a guy like Jackson Hayes. And the way that he just detonates at the rim is like none other. That's why he was a former number 19th pick. And his measurables are insane. And he's also shown the ability to kind of put the ball on the floor a little bit, stretch the floor a little bit. Now, we're not relying on him to do any of those things. And I do understand that Kai Jones is a bit erratic on and off the court. But in terms of just sheer physical play and force at the rim, and somebody that can give the Lakers a release valve for 48 minutes, and again, another break glass in case of emergency athletic center if DeAndre Ayton has to miss time, if Jackson Hayes has to miss time. Again, I don't want to have to rely on Christian Koloko, so why not get Kai Jones? So that's my pitch for Kai Jones. Again, he's currently with Anadolu Efes, and I think he's just waiting for that call up. And I believe the Lakers should be the team to call him up once they have enough money below the first apron. All right, let's move on to my number 2 free agent name, and let's talk about Ricky Council IV. So Ricky Council was actually signed on by the Houston Rockets this past training camp, but he was eventually waived right before the season started. I believe he may have been dealing with a slight injury, but regardless, let's get into Ricky Council's player profile. He is currently an unrestricted free agent. I don't believe he's playing for any overseas team yet, so I think he's just waiting for an NBA team to call him up. Now, the most interesting thing about Ricky Council is the fact that out of the 4 names I'm bringing up today, Ricky Council is the only one who is still two-way eligible. So let's say the Lakers want to get off of Christian Koloko and give that third two-way spot to somebody else. Well, they could technically give it to Ricky Council, so keep that in mind. Ricky Council is a shooting guard / small forward. He is still only 24 years old. He went undrafted in 2023, but he was picked up by the Philadelphia 76ers and actually had a pretty promising rookie year where he shot I believe 47% from the field, surprisingly 37.8% from 3, albeit on low volume. But yeah, he's still only 24 years old. He is 6'6" with a 6'9" wingspan, maybe more 6'5", and he weighs 208 pounds. Last season with the Sixers, he averaged 7 points per game, 3 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 0.4 steals on very yucky percentages, 38% from the field, 26% from 3 in 17 minutes per game. Although again, he did shoot 37.8% from 3 his rookie season on 0.8 makes. But regardless, you're not looking at Ricky Council to be a shooter or to be the example of efficiency. You're looking at Ricky Council to jump the hell out of the gym, run up and down the court like a blur, catch every lob imaginable, and just absolutely TNT smash on the rim. And let me tell you, Ricky Council, kind of like Kai Jones, is one of those elite tier athletes who can just overwhelm the opposing team with how high he jumps, with how hard he hammers that ball down, with the force that he plays with. His feats of athleticism are right up there. And I think he's the type of guy who, again, we're talking about 15th guys off the roster, right? The 15th man off the bench. In a pinch, this is a dude who can just sprint up and down the court and be that ultimate finisher for you at the shooting guard position. And with how skilled the Lakers are, with all of these great playmakers, these guys who can play off of craft and savviness, I think this team could use more finishers around them. And guys like Kai Jones and Ricky Council. And it doesn't hurt to have explosive finishers at nearly every position to take advantage of all of our great passers up and down the roster. And so Ricky Council, while his shot is shoddy, he provides the one thing that the Lakers are currently missing, sans Adu Thiero. But once Adu returns, him and Ricky Council would literally jump to the top of the Lakers' best athletes on the roster. And I think Ricky Council would just be so much fun to watch, even if he's only playing 5 minutes in a break glass in case of emergency situation. And again, just trust me, Ricky Council is that dude when it comes to athleticism, explosiveness, and speed. And he will have Crypto.com arena jumping up and down. But yeah, that's my pitch for Ricky Council. All right, let's move on to my third free agent name, and let's talk about KJ Martin. Now, I know this probably will not come as a surprise to most of you who have been following my channel. I have been campaigning for the Lakers to trade for KJ Martin last season, to sign KJ Martin this offseason when he eventually got bought out. and he has now been officially bought out and is still an unrestricted free agent. So you guys well know my love for KJ Martin. In fact, I've done solo breakdown videos on KJ Martin himself, but I just once again want to bring his name up because for some reason he's still floating out there. No NBA team has picked him up just yet, and I'm sure some people will use that against him and be like, well, if KJ Martin is so good, why hasn't any NBA team picked him up? Well, for one thing, it's still really early in the season. A lot of NBA teams may be facing the same restrictions that the Lakers have, being just $1 million below the first apron. Maybe they're still feeling things out. I think eventually KJ Martin will be picked up by some team that could use his actual NBA veteranness because he's been in the league for a couple of years now. But mostly, you're getting KJ Martin because, again, he's explosive, he's athletic, and he runs up and down the court like a blur. So KJ Martin plays the small forward, power forward position. He is still only 24 years old. He is 6'5", 6'6", with a 6'7" wingspan and weighs 216 pounds. He's got that fire hydrant bully ball, Josh Hart sort of frame. And if you've heard me speak on KJ Martin, you would know that Josh Hart is my aspirational comp for KJ Martin, even though he doesn't have the playmaking abilities as Josh Hart has. And, he's not as elite as Josh Hart in all of the areas that Josh Hart is good at. But I think he does do the hustle, gritty, dirty man type stuff that Josh Hart does. And he's more explosive than Josh Hart. So in his career, KJ Martin has averages of 8.6 points per game, 4 rebounds on 54% from the field, and 0.5 steals per game. His best seasons came with the Houston Rockets when he averaged like 12 points, 5 rebounds. He's not a proficient three-point shooter, although he has shown the ability to knock down the occasional three-point shot. But again, you want KJ Martin for his motor, his hustle, and his jump out of the gym athleticism. And yeah, whether it's with the Rockets or the Sixers or his short time with the Utah Jazz, KJ Martin has proven himself to be that ultimate release valve in transition, as a dynamic run up and down rim runner, as a lob threat at the shooting guard small forward position. And overall, he just gives any team that he's on that injection of speed, life, and explosiveness. He's just got fresh legs and he knows how to finish at the rim and at the basket. And again, just like Ricky Council, these are the types of guys, even if it's at the shooting guard small forward position, these are the types of guys that you want next to Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves. Instead of dudes fumbling the ball around the rim, you want dudes who can make up for a fumbled pass because they're so athletic. You want dudes who can catch errant balls and errant passes at the rim because they do have that quick twitch ability to snag the ball out of the air and still jam it down. And KJ Martin, like Ricky Council and Kai Jones, is that type of athlete. And out of all the 4 names that I'm mentioning in this video, I believe KJ Martin is actually the most established, and he's the most established and the most quote-unquote proven at age 24. So again, Lakers, I plead, once you have enough money under the first apron, please sign an athlete like KJ Martin. All right, let's move on to my 4th and final free agent name, and let's talk about Oshae Brissett. Now, if you've been following this channel over the last year, you would also know my random dark horse hipster love for Oshae Brissett, and I still believe in this guy. So Oshae Brissett, he was an undrafted free agent in 2019, in the 2019 draft. He's currently an unrestricted free agent in the NBA, but he is playing overseas with Maccabi Tel Aviv, the same team that, coincidentally enough, former Laker Lonnie Walker is playing for. Oshae Brissett is a small forward / power forward. He's currently still just 27 years old, which is right in line with the Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Rui, Jake LaRavia timeline. He is 6'7" in height, 7-foot wingspan. He's 210 pounds, but he's super bulky and cut. He's got a really nice frame to him. And yeah, Oshae Brissett actually played 6 games towards the end of the season with the Philadelphia 76ers. They picked him up at the end, and he actually did decently well last season. 8.7 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 0.7 steals per game, 0.5 blocks per game on 48% from the field, 33% from three, but you will probably know O'Shea Brissett more for what he did with the Boston Celtics and the Indiana Pacers. And in a nutshell, O'Shea Brissett is one of these bully ball, high motor dudes who will scrap on the floor, give your team energy. He can knock down the three-point shot a little bit. And in fact, with the Indiana Pacers, I believe he had a season where he knocked down 2+ threes per game on decent percentages. I believe like 36% from three. With the Boston Celtics during their playoff run versus the Indiana Pacers in 2023-24, he was a big component in bringing life and energy to the team during, I believe, game 3 of that series. And he really brought the hustle. He brought the grit. He's the type of dude who will scrap for rebounds, get putbacks, and he's also very athletic. You will see him sprint up and down the court, cock that ball back far beyond his head and just slam it down. He's a very fun athlete to watch, and he brings that physicality to the table as well. And again, out of all 4 names that I've mentioned today, he's probably the best three-point shooter. Now, he's not a pure three-point shooter, but he has proven that he can get hot from three with enough minutes and enough reps. But like everybody else that I've mentioned today, you want O'Shea Brissett because he can be that explosive, athletic finisher. And the other thing that O'Shea Brissett provides that these other players probably don't outside of maybe KJ Martin is a physicality to him, because he does have those broad shoulders, that low to the gravity frame to him where he can move people in the paint. And you just don't want to be caught in a scrum with O'Shea Brissett. And from what I've heard from Celtics fans and Indiana fans, this is a dude who was a really good locker room guy who really brought the vibes up of the team. And whenever he was in the game, he tried his best to inject the team with life. And I think on sluggish nights like the Lakers had against the Atlanta Hawks, this is the type of guy you want to bring off of your bench to just slap people around and wake them up a little bit. And so even though I know this will probably fall on deaf ears, if anyone's listening from the Lakers scouting department, go sign O'Shea Brissett for Maccabi Tel Aviv. Don't look at his stats, because this is not a box score stats player. This is an energy vibes player who will bring the physicality and also a tomahawk jam here and there. All right, so that does it for this video. Those are my 4 free agent names who are still currently free agents, who I think would bring the Lakers a nice needed dose of explosiveness, speed, and athleticism. Again, nothing is imminent because the Lakers can't actually sign anyone right now, whether it be these guys or an established veteran, until they're well enough below the first apron or make a consolidation trade. But this video is just one to sort of bookmark and tab. Just keep your eyes on these players, because who knows, maybe the Lakers make a trade sooner rather than later. Maybe they do free up a roster spot. In the case of Ricky Council, maybe they move themselves off of Christian Koloko and then sign Ricky Council to their third two-way spot. These are all things to just keep in mind, some food for thought for you, because it was a terrible weekend on the Lakers' end, and that Atlanta Hawks game, you kind of just want to wash away from your memory. So here's a video to help you sort of stem the tide in the meantime. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about these 4 names and who's your favorite, or if there are any other floating free agents out there that you want the Lakers to give a flyer if and when they have enough space under the first apron. With that said, please remember to like this video, comment down below, and most importantly, hit subscribe. This has been Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy Podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.